Jamie, difficult day here down in Exeter. They're a good side. They're top of the table for a reason, but an 8-1 defeat. What's your take on that?
Well, sort of got to decompartmentalise it really and try and break it down. First half, I felt we defended resolute. It was only 1-0. I felt like if we could have just tweaked a little bit of our shape, because I felt like we got a bit too pinned in certain areas, and felt like if we kind of maintained our position a little bit around that, then we might have been able to create more opportunities. But yeah, they just upped at another level second half, and I think losing Britain the first half was quite a tough thing for us to have to reshuffle around. And then some other knocks with Emma Whitlock and Sean Bradbeer getting knocks as well. But credit to the two that came on to replace them too, because they were outstanding. Loz Knight and Manisha Kaur did amazing. And unbelievable by Maisie Aldridge to come on and to get her goal. So still lots of positives to take. I don't think that we were up to the standards that we normally set ourselves in terms of the way that we play. So massive learning curve for us moving forward.
You talk about the injuries there, and you talk about losing Brett. She did have to go off very early. How big of effect did that have on the game plan today?
Yeah, massive, because ultimately we kind of pinned our shape around what their back three tend to do. So I think the longer that we had the game at 1-0 with Britt on the pitch, potentially it means that we can have that impact. But ultimately, going back to the whole Maisie coming on, doing brilliantly, and then when Ree went onto the right-hand side, she was outstanding as well. So I felt like we adapted in those stages well, but it was just in other areas that we weren't good enough today.
When the goals did come in the second half, because as you say, it was 1-0 throughout the first half after a very early goal, but the goals in the second half, they seemed to come in spells and in quick concession as well when Exeter did score. Is that lack of concentration from your team?
I think there's a lot that we need to do on mindset. We need to do loads. Ultimately, when things go well and we're confident, and similar to your point you just raised, we can play some really fluid football. We can be relentless, but ultimately, you look at the game today, conceding within a minute of the first half, but then showing the adaptability and the resilience to kind of grind it out and keep a 1-0 scoreline at half time. But second half, there's lots of things that we've got to go and work on.
You talk about the bright spark. You talk about Maisie. She's come on and scored a goal. She's, Davies in today for the club. Wasn't part of your original plans, but she's come on. She's done the job. She's got a goal. Are you now looking at her in your plans now going forward in the games that you can go, we can get results there?
Absolutely. Well, if she can come on and have an impact against top of the league, then that shows immense credit to her footballing abilities and the job that Nathan Gav had done with the reserves, in A, recruiting her, and B, supporting her development. But ultimately, she did herself proud. She did club proud today and shown her qualities. So we're massively delighted to have her on board.
And where do you go from here in the upcoming games? Because you've got a home game coming up against Swindon, and then you've got Torquay. There's still a lot of difficult games to play, and you're in a fight now.
So ultimately, we sat down and had a look at what sort of key results that we need to get throughout the remaining games of the season. We've still got 2 teams to play in both home and away fixtures. We've got a really important spell where we've got teams in and around us. So ultimately it's regroup, address a couple of points, have some difficult conversations as a group, but hopefully regain our focus and look to go in the direction that we're aspiring to still. I don't think it changes the course of action or the process. We just need to maybe revisit some of the key points that we've raised throughout that.